Want to thank everyone for joining us today. Today we've got Jordan Donich from Donich Law joining us, and he's going to give us some insight on what it's like to be a lawyer and to compete in an ultra-competitive market, using his education at a much younger age than a lot would be to run their own law firm. So I'd like to welcome you. Thanks for being with us today, Jordan.
Thanks for having me.
So the first thing I want to do is give listeners and watchers a little bit of background on yourself. Well, let's start at the beginning. Let's go back 10 years, 15 years to before you entered law school. And what was it that drove you to want to get into law after university?
So there really was never a point where I woke up and said, hey, I want to be a lawyer. That's the truth. I don't come from a family of people who went to school. I was the first one to go to university. So really it was more the challenge. I think that's what it started with. Was I smart enough? Could I do it? I didn't really have a role model in the family to ask questions about professional education. So it kind of started around age 19 where I wanted to see if I was smart enough and could do it. That's really where it started.
Okay. And prior to that, what did you do? What type of jobs did you do? What was your background or experiences up to that point?
So I know I don't really have any, at that point in my life, any legal experience or any legal kind of role model. I always had sales jobs. I mean, I've done all the jobs. Okay, I've done the dish pick in the kitchens. I've sold shoes at the mall. I've sold cameras. I've done pretty much all the jobs. I've done the line chef. So that's where I essentially started, like any other 15 or 16-year-old. And then, of course, I started undergrad in criminology, had some interest in crime and policing, and it really, got to the point where around that age, I want to know if I had what it took to get into law school.
Okay. And was there a particular moment or time where you said, okay, this is the direction I'm going? I'm assuming after you graduated from university, you could have gone straight out into the workforce in a sales job or something like that. What made you say, you know what, I'm going to go back, I'm going to take a couple more years, and I'm going to go pursue law?
So I never actually finished my undergrad. I skipped it at University of Toronto. So I did have continuous years of school. And that was also an incentive too, right? The incentive was, hey, look, if you're smart enough and work hard enough, maybe you can get into your professional education and save a year of school, save a year of money, and come out with a law degree. So it really was that simple, the decision. And of course, it paid off.
So you graduate. What are some of the things you had to do before you graduated? You had to be an articling student, I'm sure. What
Right.
was that experience like for you?
So articling, it's tough and it's getting harder. Articling basically is the internship lawyers must do to get their license. Same, similar to a doctor. It's changed quite a bit since my days. Now you can actually do it online and through other programming. And the simple reason is there's not enough jobs. There aren't enough lawyer jobs. The market is not growing, and students graduating are increasing. So it's a simple supply and demand dynamic. As you get more lawyers, as you get more people, finishing school, and if the job market's not growing, you're going to have a glut.
Okay, so after you did your articling, what did you really learn from articling? Were there any major takeaways
So
that you
articling, yeah, articling is great because it introduces you to private practice, right? Or practice that you're interested in, whether it's with the government, an NGO, anything really. And it's the first kind of taste of real hands-on experience, like any internship. If you're lucky, you can get a paid articling job. That also helps. You get some income. From my experience in particular, I didn't focus on one area because I didn't know what I wanted to do when I was done law school. I didn't know if it was criminal. I didn't know if it was family. I didn't even know if I wanted to be a lawyer. So I went to a firm that gave me a diverse set of experiences.
you finished your articling and then you decided to go the way of entrepreneurship. Did you know, when you were younger that you wanted to eventually be an entrepreneur, or did that decision come as a result of articling?
So the decision was actually pretty simple. I knew I wouldn't be happy working at a firm as a lawyer. I didn't like the hierarchy of a typical firm. I didn't like the structure. I didn't like the work environments. So the decision was very simple. It was if this is going to work and if I'm going to use my education to build a career and make money and do the things we do, the only way would be working for myself. So I started it the day after articling. And I was prepared to fail if it meant it wasn't going to work at that time. At least I knew.
Okay, and how old were you when that happened?
I was 27, I believe.
27. Okay, so that seems like it's a big jump, a
Maybe
huge leap.
26. Might have been 26 actually. I could have been 26.
Okay,
I think I
and
was younger.
so just to put people in your headspace at that time, were you nervous? Were you scared? Were you confident? What were you feeling at that time?
So at that time, no, I mean, I wasn't nervous. I definitely wasn't scared. I wasn't confident. I almost didn't care because I knew the outcome would dictate how I felt. I was willing to accept good or bad because I felt that if it was good, great, it worked. And if it didn't work, that's also worth something to me. And it meant, at that age, I could potentially save myself 5 years of learning the hard way.
Right, right. So you come in, you're 26, 27 years old into an industry that expects much older professionals. How do you compete in that environment?
It's hard because there's always a stigma as a young lawyer or a young doctor or any young professional we go to. You feel like they don't know enough, they don't have the experience. Maybe you go to a young doctor and you feel like they don't know enough about your issue and they might miss something. And that's natural for your customer. And it's no different with a lawyer. Lack of experience can sometimes imply, maybe you don't know as much as somebody who's been doing it for 30 years. So the question on how to compete is you have to work twice as hard. You have to keep your customer happy. You have to be able to convince them you're knowledgeable, competent, and able to handle the challenge. On the flip side, I think, though, it does present a unique benefit because as a young professional, a young lawyer, sometimes young clients are looking for that. They don't want somebody who's 30 years older. They want to feel like they can connect. They want to feel maybe a little bit more on the same, playing field. And that's where youth, I think, helps as a young professional.
Okay, so I'm assuming here to convince people that you were professional, you had to invest probably a little more than others would be used to in your brand and in creating a brand and an image. Can you walk me through a little bit of how you developed that brand into what it is today and some of the steps you took to think that out?
So really, it all comes down to your ability every day to put in fresh energy into your brand, into what you are, into what your customers know you are. Whether that's through writing, whether that's through building your website and explaining what you've done, whether that's through taking care of each customer one at a time, so that they give you a referral one day and they're happy they chose you. These little things continue and compound over the days and years, including handing out a business card to somebody you meet. You do this 1,000 times and you might get, 50 clients. And you keep doing that over and over and over again. And eventually you build a base. And it's really that simple. Where I think people fail is they get lazy. They get tired. It's easy to take the pedal off the gas. And that's the difference.
Looking back at the last 10 years, how long have you been now in business?
Yeah, I'm up close to 10.
10 years, okay.
Close. I'm
When you look
not
back,
closing out 10.
if you can go back to your younger self, is there any information or advice you would say, I wish I knew this back then, that you would push and tell yourself to move it maybe in a different direction around?
No, I'm really lucky. I don't have a lot of regrets. I don't. And the reason is pretty simple. Because I've always been very decisive, and I haven't wasted 2 or 3 years to figure out if it's the right decision. And that's the difference. If you don't want to have regrets and you want to make the right choices, good or bad, you got to come to terms with the fact that, hey, maybe you did a law degree and it was a complete waste of time and you don't want to be a lawyer. That's okay. Maybe you did your MBA and you're not going to go work for a consulting firm. That's okay. Don't sit there and work 5 years climbing the corporate ladder to grow bitter and then leave. That's when you're going to have regrets. So the key is coming to terms with what it is you want to do at any given moment and executing. And as long as you do that day by day, you can't be too hard on yourself because you've never really, wasted any time. I think that's where the regrets lie, when people choose to not listen to themselves deep down inside and hope things change without action.
You say you ran a business and you created this business in Donnage Law. And as everyone knows that has a business, it takes more than just one skill set to make a business work. It seems like for you in the early going that your experiences doing sales and selling and marketing really paid dividends for you as you started that as your law firm. Would you agree that that is the truth?
Yeah, it did. And I didn't know that. Going through law school, watching your friends travel to Panama and get free money and bursaries, can be a little depressing when you're at the mall, like me, selling phones all summer without doing anything else. But really, it paid off in the long run because I came out with a war chest of experience nobody had. And that's the difference, because your customers that you sell shoes to, that you sell phones to, whatever it is, apparel, those are the same people that are hiring you as a lawyer. They're no different. So if you can communicate and deliver and keep them happy, in that context, in a retail context, it's no different with professional services. That's the bottom line.
So do you feel within a lot of law educations that sales marketing kind of business component is missing? Because I do know you've lectured quite a bit at different law schools. Is that usually what you talk to students around? Is that kind of missing element?
It's not just sales, it's customer service, it's branding, it's everything big companies know to do and do. And that's why they're successful. So I think but it's not just lawyers. I think it's accountants. I think it's, physiotherapists and all kinds of, professional services. These people aren't brought up to know much about business and they're not trained that way, which is fine because they're not selling widgets or whatever. But the problem is your client doesn't know that. Your client may expect that, and they may want more than just a legal outcome. They probably want good customer service. So these things are all very important, and it's part of the package to building a good base of clients and a successful business, whether it's small or large.
If you were to rely just on your law degree experience, let's say you didn't have that experience doing sales in the mall, how do you think that would have impacted your success in your business?
I probably wouldn't be a lawyer now because I don't think I could survive and and be happy with my day. At the end of the day, we have so many hours of life per day. You sleep for 8, you're left with whatever it is. The question is, how you're happy is how you fill those remaining hours of wakeness. What you do, whether that's things you like, whether that's things you don't like, whether it's people you like being around. And that's been the secret to me, is if we are careful with those hours we're awake every day and we allocate them to things that make us happy and things that don't irritate us, whether that's working with the right people, doing the type of work you like. If you can manage to do that, you'll enjoy what you do. And the only way I've been able to do that is to be able to build a business and generate clients and all the things I do that fit within those type of criteria for me as a business.
So, what would you say to a law student right now that has no sales experience that wants to come out into the legal world and wants to start a law firm? What would your advice be to them in second year while they have time?
It's not about starting a law firm. It's no different if you work for a big firm. You work for a big firm right now. We're in the middle of the start of a recession. It's horrific. I've talked to some of my friends out on Bay Street. They're working up the corporate ladder, and some are getting fired. They're getting whacked. Why? Because they're not billing and they're not producing. Why? Probably because they don't know how to get clients. It doesn't matter if you're starting a firm or if you are working in a firm. The expectation for professional services is the same. You have to be able to bring in revenue, and and that means doing good work and convincing your clients that you can keep them happy and solve their problem, whatever it is. Then it's worth it to pay you. Then they're happy to pay you because you're delivering them what they need. So the answer to your question is, if they don't have that experience, they need to get it before it's too late. Otherwise, you're going to be learning over the first 10 years of your career and competing with people that may have those skills. And that's a problem, I think.
And when you look back to your history, what have you found the most effective way to learn those skills are?
Like
Something
anything,
you've learned in a book, or is it something that you have to do?
it's like anything, right? Your question about articling. an internship, right, is to get experience so you're ready. It's no different with marketing and sales and customer service. Get the experience so you're ready. And the best way is to go to the mall and get a job or whatever it is, the grocery store, be a barista, do something that has a high volume amount of transactions per day with different people.
I do want to post a little bit of attention now. You spend a lot of time building your online brand. You have quite a large website with information on just about any legal topic that you can look into. Why was it important for you to invest so heavily in an online website or an online presence?
For me, it just cuts down the amount of time I need to explain to clients about what I do. It's really an efficiency thing. You know, customers call us, I say, hey, go to the website, you can read about your topic. All your answers are there, you know, for the most part. It's not legal advice, but for the most part. Then if you really want our help, yeah, we'll help you. So it saves us a lot of, it's a good filtering mechanism, I think, to just give people free information that they mostly call lawyers for anyways. They may not even need legal advice. And it allows us to focus on the clients that need us.
When it comes to online marketing and advertising, are those things that you engage with as well? Are you looking mostly for organic growth? Do you go into paid advertisement? What do you find has been effective for you?
Law is no different than any business. You need all forms of marketing. You need person to person. You need referrals. You need online. You need pay per click. You need, you know, promotion. You need everything. It's very competitive for every business now. And there's no one secret to clients or success. You have to be doing everything all the time. And that's when I go back to what I said at the beginning, you always need fresh energy.
When you're now at a stage now that you're starting to hire your own lawyers, what are you looking for in these lawyers as they're coming out of law school? What are the key attributes?
So I don't care about grades too much. You know, I care about responsiveness. I care about reliability. I care about me not having to check everything. I care about initiative. I care about their ability to problem solve without bothering me 20 times a day. So I don't know what you call those things, but that's what is important to me as the business. Anyone can get good grades if you just put in enough time. Not everyone can do all of that, as far as I'm concerned. Now, look, I'm not saying you're going to hire somebody who's failing, but they don't need to be top of the class. So I really care about their ability to be independent and self-sustainable. And that's what's important to me, because I don't have the time to micromanage. I don't want to micromanage, and frankly, I don't care to. And if you're not able to take care of yourself, you know, independently, you're really no good to the business long term.
So how do you know when a candidate or an individual has those skill sets that you're looking for?
Well, the truth is you don't know, because anyone can write anything on a resume. Anyone can say they're anything. It's different when they prove it. So the answer is you have to give people a chance. And you can't tell them what you're looking for. And you wait and see how they respond naturally, how they fix a problem naturally without you having to tell them how to do it. Give them a problem, put them in a situation where they're uncomfortable, see how they react. Are they going to call you 30 times a day and ask you what to do every step of the way? Are they going to find 5 possible solutions before bothering you to say, hey, look, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this. I just want to make sure, Jordan, I'm doing it right. So we don't make a mistake. That's a lot different than somebody saying, show me how to do all this. Show me, show me, show me, show me. Because when are they ever able to do it themselves? And it really depends on what type of business you are. If you're the type of business where you just want to hire lawyers to write and do, you know, research all day without ever interacting with a client, without ever answering the phone, without ever really doing any type of business development, if that's the kind of person you want, then these qualities may not be as important. But for me as a small business, you know, I want to share the prosperity of the firm with other people. I don't have a problem giving, but work with me. You know, that's all I ask.
So when you look at your candidates or your individuals that you have working for you now, is it fair to say that you expect all lawyers you work with to be able to interface with the client?
No, it's not always necessary because not everyone's the same. Not everyone wants to talk to clients or deal with phone calls or thousands of emails or whatever. So it really comes down to customizing the entire package your business delivers for the customer to make sure the customer's taken care of everywhere, to make sure they have the customer service, the responsiveness, obviously the legal result. It doesn't matter if you're a good salesman and a good businessman if your clients keep going to jail. That is not going to help you. You need to do everything. So really, it's a matter of, like any business, putting the right people together so that the client at the end gets what they came to you for in the first place. It's really quite simple as that. And where somebody might be weak, somebody can pick up, in their place and vice versa.
Okay. So last question. A lot of students want to know how your day is structured. Can you walk me through a typical, productive day that you would consider looks like for you?
So, the average day is, I don't wake up too early. I guess I get up at 7. I don't know. I'm not one of these 4 a.m. guys that, are going in some kind of crazy workout routine. I don't think that's sustainable. You need your sleep. If you're not sleeping, you're not productive. I don't care what people say. I don't think anyone can continue, at least not me physically, on 5 hours sleep with high productivity over 10 years. I can't do it. So you need your 8 hours sleep. If you're not sleeping, you're not productive. You're not studying. You're not doing anything. So that's number one. Get your sleep and be disciplined with it. Once you have that, then really you have your energy and the power for the rest of the day. So I never go to bed without answering all my emails. There's never a point where the next day I have leftover unresponded emails. And I've been like that my whole life. Because truthfully, I get anxiety going to bed knowing I haven't finished my day. And then I can't sleep. That's me. So I get it all done. Okay. Obviously morning I'll deal with that. I'll look at the schedule. I'll deal with all my phone calls throughout the day. I'll always get a workout in about 4 days a week, usually mid-afternoon, which is the place I've always liked to work out since I was about 18. So I'll get that in. And then I'll start to wind down usually around 6 o'clock. I don't really work past 6. I never studied past 6 in law school. Those last 3 hours, I'll maybe play some video games. I'll do things that just get my mind off the business. I haven't been as disciplined as that my whole life. There have been periods where I will work on the business and all these other things up till 9 o'clock. But you don't want to do that, I think, long term. It becomes unhealthy after a certain amount of time.
Right. And if you were to break your day down just based on how much time you spend on marketing versus customer service versus legal work, how would you allocate that to your time?
It's pretty well balanced between the three, right? Because if you're not taking care of your existing customers and you're focusing too much on growing, your business is going to fall apart. If all you do is just research and write all day, you're not going to get any new clients. So it's pretty well balanced. It may not always be perfect, but to me, that's been the right chemistry so that we can keep the firm going, take care of existing people, be generous with our clients so we don't have to worry about, not giving them enough time and giving them really as much as they want. So to me, it's very well balanced, like any healthy organization.
So I do want to thank you, Jordan, again for your time today. Really appreciate it, and I'm sure the students and those that watch it will have gained a lot of insight as well. And like to wish you the best in the future.
Glad to help. Thank you.